Hello, hola, bienvenidos. As you guys can see from the title, today I am doing yet another video of products that have pan in them in my makeup collection. I try to do this about 3 times a year, every 4 to 5 months. Last time I did this, I believe it was around April-ish. So I was due to share with you guys some more pans that I have hit in my collection. Some of these pans you have already seen because I'm doing a makeup rehab series this year where I share with you guys pans, and they are a point usage kind of thing, like a point system, so they do count towards my beauty bank. So you may have seen some of these Sims, some of these you may have not. So if you're interested in seeing some more pans, stay tuned. But first, if you're new, Alejandra, I go by Alex, eyeshadow enthusiast with a Dash Project Pan. If you want to continue to see that kind of content on your feed, subscribe and join us. And now let's get on with this video. Now, I do have a ton of eyeshadows since I do pan those eyeshadows, and I am trying to hit more pan in eyeshadow palettes because I have the most when it comes to anything in my collection is eyeshadow pans. So I want to have more of them looking like I have pan in them. So I do have some other products as well to share with you guys, so it's not just eyeshadows. So while we're at it, let's just show you guys the things that are not eyeshadows. The first product I'm going to share with you guys that has pan is my MAC Glow Play Blush. You have seen this in many updates and many videos. This will be finished at some point or another, but for right now, it is showing pan, and that is a qualification for this video, so I wanted to share that with you guys. The other one is this. It's a highlighter that was in no project pans at all whatsoever. I hit this on my own by myself, no help at all. This is the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive. I don't know if you can see the pan. It is right there. It is there. I am counting it. This is an easy highlighter formula to hit pan on because it's very powdery and you do not need a lot, but I used it. I wanted to hit pan on this one, and I'm very happy that I did. The third one is a spoiler alert for this week's video, but I'm going to share with you guys anyway. The Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush palette in Citrus. I was able to hit pan on that highlighting one that I have been working on in that project pan. Very happy to see that more of my higher end makeup is looking more loved because I have a tendency to not want to ruin my higher end products by using them up, which is a terrible, terrible mindset. I'm getting better at it. As you guys can see, I'm bringing a lot more higher end products into my project pans because they need to show more love. Now let's move on to the eyeshadow portion of this, shall we? First off is this. This is one of my very top favorite, all-time favorite eyeshadow palettes ever. And this was in my project pan, and you guys, I actually hit pan on one of these. This is the color Alpha. Never did I think I would hit pan on any of these eyeshadows. This is a very, very pigmented and deep kind of pans. Like, you could see that is deep. That's deep. That is not a shallow pan. That took me a long time to hit pan on, but I'm very grateful that I did hit pan on this palette because it is one of my favorite palettes, and most people are like, really? Because it doesn't look it. You don't need that much to use those shadows. This palette doesn't even have a year in my collection, and I have 2 pans in this one. I've already shared with you guys the one pan. I have hit a second pan in this one. This is the Book of Magic palette, and I was able to hit pan on that one organically and no project pans. I just was reaching for this to set my eyelids, and I'm able to hit pan on this one. So now this has 2 pans in it, and it doesn't even have a year in my collection, which makes me happy to see that because that's a very rare thing in my life. Storybook Cosmetics. This is the Fairy Tale palette. I already had 1 pan in, and I was able to hit a second pan in the shade Woodland. This was in a project pan. I've realized and come to the conclusion that I do like these formula, but it's really easy and very shallow pan, so I can actually hit quite a bit more pans in this palette. The only thing is it's very bulky, so it takes up a lot of space in my drawer. This is a palette that I thought about that I wanted to use this year, and I'm so happy I have pan on it. This is the Juvia's Place Nubian palette. This is one of the first palettes I ever bought from Juvia's Place, and I have been able to hit pan on that one. I have used this palette. It doesn't look like it, but I have used it overall. That pan was a very stubborn pan. These are actually pretty deep, and this formula is very pigmented in this palette. So it took me a lot of work and a lot of usage to get to it, but I'm very happy that I was able to hit pan on this one. Another palette that I'm so happy that has shown more love, because again, this is one of my top favorite palette color stories. This is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. I was able to hit a second pan down here. I am wanting to hit more pan in here. I want to look more loved, but now that the summer is going, I'm gonna eventually put this away and work on it next year. But I'm so happy that I have been able to show this palette a lot more love than I have in the past years. This palette, I'm not sure if I showed this in my last video, but I'm gonna show it just in case. This is the Holy Grail palette by Violet Voss. And again, another easy setting lid shade single in here that I hit pan on. I already had pan on that one. These are very powdery and shallow again, so I could see myself hitting a lot more pan in these palettes because it's rather easy to use. It's not a very difficult palette or formula to hit pan on. And last but not least, this is a single that I hit pan on this year. And again, this doesn't even have a year in my collection. I'm so happy that I have hit pan on it. This is Reflection by Dose of Colors Block Party Singles. And there it is right there. Really deep pans in this. This has a very deep pan. If I were to use this with my finger, I don't think I would have hit pan, but using it as a liner, it worked out great. And I really did like the color as a liner. I don't know. I'm going to have to play around with this one as in all over the lid to see how I like it. But that is another pan that I was able to hit this year. So there you guys have it. That is all the shadows that I've hit pan on. As you guys know, I have been on my own doing the 101 pans. I'm curious to see how many pans I have so far. I believe the last update I had 45 pans. So I may be over 50 at this point, which makes me very, very happy. So I'll put it on the screen if I remember all of my numbering, because I do have it somewhere. I just got to fish for it because it's been a while. So that's it, you guys. Those are all the pans that I have. I will collect my next round of pans for you guys for the future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll put my videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.